Your mobile phone could be the remote control of your life. Today we meet three tech disruptors, connecting businesses and people, smoothing over our journeys, digital and in the real world. And how do we keep our personal data really personal? Let's dive in. Welcome to this special edition of CIO TV with the nominees of the Tech Hero Award for 2023. These exceptional organizations have been nominated because they've set the tech world ablaze in a very disruptive time. And all of these companies have something in common. They live by the adapt or die ethos. With me in the studio today, I have Albert van Veen, CEO of FastID, Jeroen van Glabbeek, CEO of CM.com, Zahir Sakrani, CTO of XXImo, and Mark Schiering, Managing Director and Senior Partner of BCG, and a member of the jury for the Tech Hero Award 2023. Welcome. So you are all strong contenders to follow in the footsteps of last year's winner, Picnic. But first, we have a special guest online. Martijn Koning is the chairman of the CIO platform of the Netherlands. He's a member of the jury for the Tech Hero of the Year award. Welcome, Martijn.
Hi, Madeleine.
Why the Tech Hero Award? We have the CIO Award of the Year. And why was there a need for a second award?
Well, within the jury, we said that we saw that the CIO award was awarded to mainly big incumbent companies where personal drive and ambition of CIOs transformed the companies. And what we said is, well, we also want to look at some new and emerging companies that are conquering the world, and where we don't only look at the personal achievement of a tech leader, but also look a bit deeper into the transition of the whole company. And well, that's what we're doing with the Tech Hero Award, actually.
So truly people who are shaking up their segment. I think I have the right guys with me on the table. And why is CIO Platform involved with this? Why do you find that important?
Well, because, several things, actually. First of all, I think incumbent companies and startups, scale-ups, and digital native companies can learn a lot from each other. I think the innovation power that we see, for example, with the three contestants that we have at the table, can be very inspiring for incumbent companies, but also on the other way around, where the scalability and the scaling of companies is already done within the more traditional environment. That can also be a learning trip for these kind of companies, I think.
Absolutely. So in the friction, you also get the learning.
Exactly. And we also see that at the platform. Last year's winner is also a very nice member of the platform, and we see constant connection between different members to be inspired by each other.
Perfect. So the front runners that shake things up. But now the burning question in this room is, what will you use to determine the absolute winner? What is the magic ingredient?
Well, of course, the DIE framework, where Mark can elaborate a lot on, is the basis of every challenge. There we look deep into the status of the company, the status of the tech leader, and where he's at. Where I will actually be pinpointing on is the scalability of the technology, the scalability of the business model, how that connects to each other, and how well is technology also part of the business model discussion. I think that is, especially for the Tech Hero Award, a very important topic.
Thank you very much, Martijn. Thank you for your time. We have another member of the jury at the table. Mark, welcome. What jumps out for you from the nominees of this year?
what I really liked in all the pre-discussions is their super clear ambition. Not just like I'm going to disrupt the segment, but I'm going to reinvent completely parts of the segment. So it's not like I'm going to wipe out competition. Can I take a spot where I am the competition to myself and then grow from there? So super cool.
And echoing on the words that we heard from Martijn, where do you see the friction? Because you are also involved with the CIO of the Year award, maybe the bigger, larger incumbents. And where do you see the gold dust that these guys add?
So these companies, these guys, they don't carry a lot of legacy with them. But if you don't set it up properly, within 2 or 3 years, you'll be in the same position. So the trick is where I'll be looking at is how are they avoiding that? Martijn was already saying, okay, then it should actually scale. And then what's super interesting is where will they actually start either collaborating or attacking the laggards in the various sectors they play in.
Brilliant. I think we want to hear from our guests also. Zahir, can you tell us a little bit about what XXImo does?
Certainly. Firstly, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the nomination. Now, XXImo started by trying to fix a problem, and that problem's evolved. Mobility in itself is an ever-evolving issue across the markets we operate in. And we've taken a combination of tech and data to continually stay ahead of the curve. What we've done is we've initially started with building our own payment platform, and using the payment capabilities, introduced mobility capabilities on top of that, servicing all of our customers from end to end, digitally onboarding them, and able to provide digital services to their end users to actually perform mobility.
You also brought a little video clip. Why don't we have a look? So Zahir, we can see in this clip also a big collaboration with Visa.
Yes.
So what drove you to this partnership?
Now, traditionally, if you look at mobility, it was all based on closed-loop technology. If you look at fuel cards, they're based on magnetic stripes. If you look at public transport cards, RFID. And we had a vision early on in the inception of XXImo to see how you could use open-loop technology to fulfill these sorts of mobility-based transactions. And at the time, Visa was a willing partner and a very good partner to us. We have a very good relationship with them, and we innovate with them. Based on their technologies, we're able to do stuff that gives us the competitive edge.
So also in the friction, again, a very large incumbent, and you are challenging them in the friction to make something better.
Yes.
Brilliant. What challenges do you face?
Our data model, data comes first for us. It's an ever-evolving data model, so we've got to continuously feed it, understanding what data we have, what data we need, what data our users need, and build models that then allow us to build better products. So the biggest challenge we have right now is how do we provide the tools to our customers so that they can take their complex mobility policies and roll them out to their users. We've actually started innovating in creating a toolbox of, dare I say, applications that they could reutilize, allowing us to scale, but also learning from other companies and offering advice to new customers to be able to say, okay, you could possibly use this policy to address this particular business need.
And talking about new customers, someone else who had gazillions of new customers is Jeroen. Do you want to explain a little bit about what you do at CM.com?
Yeah, actually quite a lot. We are a global tech company. We started with messaging, text messaging, by now WhatsApp and all type of different channels. That's our CPaaS division. But we connect that with payments. We also a payment company. We built our own infrastructure at acquiring and processing that we can handle a lot of payments. And combined it is conversational commerce. That's why we believe in it. A lot of communication and business between brands and consumers will be through the mobile phone. And payments and messaging is one of the two key essence there. To use. And around it we build a lot of software, also based on AI to drive these conversations, to make them interactive, to make them rich. That's our SaaS portfolio. We call it Engage. And we use all this technology combined for something we really love to do, and that is for ticketing, for the live entertainment. So with large-scale sport events like the Dutch Grand Prix, but also music festivals. We use all this technology to engage with consumers. And we do it on a global scale. So we found
how many end consumers do you have now? Or how many lives do you touch, or how do you measure that?
That is in the billions. Yeah, we send like 8 billion messages a year, but we also process billions of euros and dollars in a payment platform, and we sell tens of billions of tickets. So it's a lot, and that's also why we have business around the world, from China to Brazil and the US and Africa and Middle East. We built our technology mostly local in the Netherlands, but we expanded it through our own global tech network all over the world.
And you once said that, and I stole that line from you today, your mobile phone should be the remote control of your life. How does that fit into the vision of CM.com?
Yeah, that's what we already believed when we founded the company in 1999, so like 24 years ago. We started in clubs and discotheques to send out marketing messages by text messages.
I knew it, party animal.
Yeah. CM.com is actually club message. So messages for club. Yeah, that's true. The first 10 years it was our name, and then we abbreviated it to CM to make it more tech savvy, because clubs was our first industry where we were active. But now we have banks, insurance companies, and governments as a client. So club message was a bit too fancy name. But that was where we started. Yeah, and that's what we still like a lot, of course, to involve people, to ask them to come to the club, and
Wow, so data of billions of people. Albert, in short, what does FastID do?
Well, I think, by the way, Club is a brilliant name. I will keep it. It's excellent. Very exciting. And I think we should talk anyway with the people around the table, because I think we have a lot of things in common. By the way, to get into the friction, and I think we have a lot of friction with big companies as well, because we are there to give you your own digital identity, your own data, and that you're in control by it yourself. And the first friction, I would not say mobile phone is your remote control, but it should be your face. Yeah, you should be able to access all kind of places with only your biometrics. And mobile phone is just something odd that is in the way. And because it's in between myself and my identity. And when I look at the past, you got more and more kind of tools to prove who you are, by plastic cards or by mobile phone or by QR codes. And I am from a small village in the Netherlands, St. Pancras, and when I went to the bank over there, the people, they knew me. And I could identify me with myself, who I am. And I just gave my wallet, because the wallet was so big, full of cards, payment cards, but also still an identity card for Schiphol, where I worked, Previum, brilliant system, but still I have a plastic card to prove who I am. And that's why FastID is there. We think that you should be able to prove who you are with only your biometrics. And we believe that is the way forward. So in a way, we are almost closer to a biometric company than a mobile.
I love
mobile
this.
company.
Your face is going to be your new remote control.
That's the
And who are your customers? Maybe just for the viewers. Are they the merchants? Are the end customers? Is it both? How do we see this?
Yeah, so it's a very good question, and it's friction, because the friction we have, for example, sometimes with big companies, and even with some Dutch companies. To my big surprise, some German companies are more open to this than the Dutch company. Who owns the data? Because we give people their own identity, they're able to use their own identity, and sometimes with sharing none of the data or some of the data. But for example, you would keep the biometric by yourself, so you would not share your biometric. And some big companies, they say, yeah, but this data is for me, is my data. So, and I want to have that in my big marketing database to do all kinds of reviews, and I don't want to share that with anybody else because I don't want my competitor to have the benefit of this identity. And so sometimes, the companies, there's friction. And sometimes they love the concept and they say this is the way to identify people, to onboard them quickly. Because we, as an airline company or as a football stadium, we are not an identity team. And we don't need this information from our clients to help them. They can keep this information by themselves. So normally our clients, the paying clients, are the big companies, are the airline companies, the stadiums. But the input from the clients, from the users, from the citizens is extremely important for us.
This is a huge challenge, actually, as a disruptor. You're basically saying, I'm going to put a padlock on the data, which is making all of the very large tech companies suck out all of the data that our European legislators are getting very excited about.
It's do or die, because this will be also the end of the big tech companies that are ruling over your data. And our mission as FastID is that we want to know nothing from our users. The less, the more. We just want to give them the opportunity to create their identity and to use it. That's the only thing we want to know. And if you look at what people sometimes say might be our competitors of the future, companies like Apple or Facebook or Google, their strategy is to know as much as possible from you. So it's really disruptive, and in our opinion, it's going to change the world, the internet. It's kind of Web 3.0. Let's bring the power back to the consumers. Not only the data, but over time you could also think about the processing capacity back to the people.
Yeah. Power to the people. So, Mark, when you hear Albert and Jeroen and Zahir speak, what sets you've got the data? So, what sets the leaders apart from the pack?
Yeah, there was one big common denominator in these stories, and Zahir, you already started our data model. So basically, if you look at leading companies, they know what the mental flip means to be data-driven. And lots of companies say they understand what that means, but they're still secretly process-driven because that's simply the last 30, 40 years how we built tech. But if you really understand the end-to-end data model in the sector, in the space you're accessing, then it becomes much easier to change processes quickly, introduce new services quickly, create ecosystems quickly. So that's the common denominator. And that's also what we see in our maturity surveys, that the companies that score really high have found good ways, I would not say perfect ways, to modularize data, to have an enterprise data domain map, to understand which data is going to be used in which use case and business situation. And they're very much ahead. And keep that in sync with what are we using it for, which business outcome, and which affordable technology stack is supporting that model.
And you also brought a model with you today, showing the difference between the stagnating companies and the ones that are bolting to the future. You want to explain to us a little bit about what you're observing there?
Yes. So basically what we look, and we survey thousands of companies basically on a continuous basis per year, around what are your granular business outcomes you're pursuing for customer, for your operations, and for introducing new services and partnerships and ecosystems, underpinned by modular tech and data on one side, and a modular digital skill organization on the other side. And then it's important that basically you look at those three things together, and then it's a simple scale. The better you have those capabilities, the closer you get to 100. So what you see is the 4 quartiles here. of companies that score low, 1 to 25, we call them stagnating, all the way to future build. But this year we've also tested, given the massive disruptions that we saw, multiple wars, hyperinflation, supply chain disruptions, legislation changes, the end of global economies, etc. Is there a correlation between, say, the maturity of the capabilities and how well these companies can adapt to external pressure? And that's super, super clear. You see that in the speed of which they can change their business models. So that's why we now call the top quartile future built, because they can deal with all the changes. The interesting thing for these companies, you and yours is already 24 years old, you need to adapt all the time. Yeah. So you need to do the same. But also for younger companies, in theory, they start all the way on the right, but can they actually scale and stay there, or within no time are locked into the original business ID and then stuck as well, and then actually they fall back.
They slide to
they
the
slide
left.
back,
Yeah.
yes.
We're gonna come back on the leadership that we need to have to prevent that. But Albert, you've really triggered me. I want to go to the video clip that you brought with you from FastID. Why don't we take a look?
Yes.
You can now create your own digital ID and get fast and secure access with biometrics. If you can unlock your phone with your face, turn on the lights with your voice, then why do you need a ticket to enter an event or give copies of your passport to check in? FastID is the next generation of digital identification. Smart, safe, simple. Most important, you and only you are in control of your own data. With FastID, the endless sharing of your data will stop. Your digital ID and data safely stored on your phone. Share to get access and remove your data after your visit. Securely identify yourself with a scan of your phone, voice, or simply your face. Get access to the fast lane with biometrics. Download the app, create a digital ID, and you're the first one in. Let's open new doors. Smart, safe, simple. FastID, the next generation of digital identification.
Smart, safe, secure, we saw in this video. So how do you judge our surroundings right now, Albert?
Yeah, so I think next to that, it is kind of the most natural way of identifying yourself with your biometrics. Use who you are and what you always have with you. I think, and this really I was here as well to be as a Chief Information Officer of Schiphol, and last year as a startup, and now I'm here for the IT Hero Award. But I think there's a real shift for myself as well, and it's a complete new discovery of moving from central databases to decentral databases. And decentral databases with your identity and using your biometrics. And I'm looking now from my new role as CEO of FastID to the security of the current systems. And I think I could put a statement here on the table that, as you would say in Dutch, it's as leaky as a basket. It's really, really leaky. And all the identity controls that work with passes, with access pass, company badge, it doesn't matter where I look, everywhere I look, if it is a badge to access your company, a bank, or if it is an identification at an airport, for example, the crew pass. To put it quite bluntly, if I would do a pilot hat on and I would falsify a crew pass, I could state that it was pretty easy, like you see in the movie Catch Me Now, to get myself into an airplane without being discovered, because the only thing they check is a pass, a badge. And very strangely enough, I'm sometimes now explaining it is possible to identify yourself with your face. Actually, it's a very easy job. It would be difficult to say, okay, I have an identification method here and it's a pass. If I would say that to you guys, you would say, yeah, what the hell, a pass? If I give it to you, I can go. Yeah, you can. And I can falsify, quite easy.
Yeah, we saw that in the movie, right? Catch Me If You Can. Now I have the face of DiCaprio in my brain.
And it's better than my face. The radio head I have myself. But that's what it is. The world is really as leaky as a basket. And I could put a statement. I believe that the access can be done more securely with more data privacy using your biometrics. Because currently we all kind of share biometric information with companies. But it can also be done, finally, securely. And if we don't move to secure access, there will be many occasions where it will be misused, and we will keep on having our company disasters.
And Albert, I think what distinguishes FastID is that people keep their biometrics, but also they keep their key with them, right? So maybe for the people who are viewing this, they're now thinking, where are the huge databases and where does all of this live?
And so that for me is the nicest surprise. Coming from Chief Information Officer of Schiphol and of banks, and it was always working with complex databases. And as a CIO community, we already said the database suppliers are also not the most easy very often, like Oracle, and it's very difficult scaling up big database security, network segmentation, and it takes you at least a year. While working with a decentralized identity, the database is already there. It's kind of carried by the users. Yeah, the kind of master.
Mobile phone, maybe, or?
Well, so it's carried in the mobile phone, and mobile phone is still an important remote control. I do agree, but in occasions where your mobile phone is out, you can also just use your face, because that's always with you, and can never be uncharged. But it's so much quicker to work with a decentralized identity and decentralized databases. Implementations at airports, I was used to it will take a year to go to a biometric implementation, to get your passengers to use biometrics. And now we brought it back to 3 or 4 weeks.
Amazing, that's really disruptive. And Jeroen, actually, speaking of disruptive, because while everyone else was talking about ChatGPT, you were cooking up something in your own kitchen.
Yeah,
Can you share a little bit about bringing something out of the kitchen sink?
Yeah, I think ChatGPT, it really changed the way how people thought about AI, because AI is already here for decades. I studied it myself in the last century, but I think for the last 3 years, we are feeling that this will come true and that it will really change the way how people can communicate in natural language. Like in your natural face, you can also communicate now in your natural language, and that's nice. It really put it on the agenda of a lot of boards, of a lot of brands around the world. But the thing is with ChatGPT, it's really generic. You can talk about everything. But what our clients really want is they want to talk to their customers about their own products. So what we've built over the last 3 years, and we launched it just a few weeks ago, is our own language model combined with a vector database where you can communicate with a brand around the knowledge of that brand. So, for example, if you sell coffee, you can talk about coffee, what is available in that store. If you want to talk about wine, and say, okay, I like this wine, but it's not in stock. Do you have another wine? And okay, yeah, then this is in stock. Or about the movie, this is the movie playing in our theater. So you can now have meaningful conversations with brands around the topic of the context. So what we do is we learn everything about that client. It can also be like an utility company, as long as they have data, whether it's on the website or in previous conversations or in documents. We learn all this knowledge in a few minutes, and then you can ask everything. And that really saves a lot of time for the agents in the customer agent center, but it also improves conversations, not only about customer support, but also about sales, pre-sales. And that's bringing a lot of results already to our clients.
And where do you see the blocker? Is the tech ready enough, or are people ready enough?
Yeah, I think in the whole discussion about AI, which is now a public discussion, I think there are 2 extremes. One is a lot of anxiety around AI.
Yeah.
Will it take over our jobs? Will it kill everybody? And there's also the other extreme, and that is that literally it will solve all our problems. And I think the reality is a little bit in between. So I think for us as a business, CM.com, we have to really be involved in all type of conversations around this topic.
But do you agree with the fear then as well? You say in between, but do you say this will really be a threat for the jobs, or do you say no?
No, I'm not that anxious about it. I think it's really a helpful tool. AI will help people to do that job better. Like a calculator also helps me to do calculation better. But I think you should not neglect this real anxiety people have around this. No. So we have to communicate.
Address the fear.
Listen to address the fear, indeed. But also challenge a little bit the estimation, which are a bit overestimation. So being part of this conversation is very important.
Do you see the fear on the client side or on the user side?
I think especially politics, So public affairs, I think it's in also media. It's going to be everywhere. And I think, this fear is a bit, but we have to prove that it is a tool which helps our life. And I think that's one of our jobs as well. Next to building the technology, which is in itself more than 100 people are working on that for years now in our company to build this technology, to put it live. So to only delivering technology really is a big job. But make it suitable for our clients is another big job. And then also give it a place in the society is a third job.
That's very interesting because one of our biases as humans is that we always overestimate change in the short term. So it's going to fix all our problems, right? Yeah. And we underestimate impact in the longer term. Mark, you also brought some data on that we're discussing fear of AI here, and I know that you brought a slide on what CIOs are saying about this.
Yeah, not just CIOs. So basically, if you this was really remarkable. So this year we asked the different type of companies, where are you thinking about or applying Gen AI? And what you see in green are those few percentage of companies in each sector that have that very high digital score.
So these are my nominees here.
Absolutely. 65% of them are either already completely setting guardrails, how are we going to use this responsibly for value, or are already creating value with it. On our bottom 25 digital companies, that's fear country. 76% do not fully understand and discourage use. And 0% are actually using it for value or not even setting up. So you see this massive divide here.
And is this board kind of level? Did you ask boards or did you ask chief information officers? Or?
We ask basically a mix of it's CXOs that fill in the survey.
CXOs, because this is where chief information officers should step in straight away, is it?
Yes.
That's where they should lead the pack and lead the companies, because this is
yes,
shocking.
But what it also shows, and on the next slide, is the stagnating and emerging companies do not have their data in order. Their data capabilities, their data management, their data governance, etc. So they have particularly low scores in that area. And Gen AI amplifies the good and the bad in every company.
It reminds you of 25 years ago when we started with the mobile phone, that people said, I don't need a mobile phone, I have a phone at home. Yeah. Yes. It's a bit this discussion, eh?
And then again, I have a camera, I don't need it to take pictures, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Indeed.
it's an evolving adoption curve, right? Yeah. We had the same with cloud computing. I remember interesting conversations 15 years ago.
But if I take it to a business example, if you now run your business only on landlines and suddenly there's somebody that can take 2 leaps in your sector, you're going to be wiped out. And that's actually what we're going to see more and more.
What is even more amazing from the results, if you look at it, is that no budget to fund Gen AI journey is totally at the bottom. That means that it was not a big reason, was it? No. The shocking is, the good thing is there is budget, but the shocking thing is that even when there is budget, they don't use it. No. That is
and
even worse in a way.
I secretly also think that the companies that fill in this data probably have no clue that their younger employees are using it anyway. Yeah. Because if you have low data capability, you also don't have detection capability to understand what's going on.
Yeah. And you know, one of our challenges here is about budget. We don't need budget. We already have the software budget of our clients. They pay us for our software. What we want is actually a bit part of our HR budget. And so you used to have a contact center with 30 people, and now you can do it with 20 people. Yeah. And our challenge is to just get part of that 10 people saving budget. So our salespeople is now more and more trained to talk about HR, after your HR budget instead of your software budget. Yeah. And then it's thinking about earning money together instead of...
That's a change you need to get in the mindset. It's kind of making a new business case.
True partnership case.
Yeah, and we always say, okay, we start with it 3 months. We make KPIs, and after 3 months, if it doesn't bring what we promise, we stop. We don't. We have like almost 100. We employ like almost 1,000 people, but like 100 people are more in the data science, and they are most of the time young people, and they don't want to do work what doesn't move the world. It's not
repetitive,
impact.
mundane. Yeah.
So if it doesn't work, we stop.
Yes.
And people find it very strange, especially the clients. But if you pay, can you continue? No. If it doesn't bring you what we promise you, we stop the product.
I don't want you to stop. They get a bit nervous then.
So,
Well, what I see in common as well with I see with biometrics is no strategy for responsible Gen AI. It's like decentral identity or decentral data. Companies don't have a strategy for it yet. So you're very dependent on what people think. It's very individually based on people. I mean, we are now working together with Berlin and Lufthansa because there are people over there that are very open-minded about data. Would those people be with KLM? We would have KLM as a client. So the companies don't have a strategy about it. So you're up to the change the mindset of the people who are in charge, and if they are change-minded.
Yeah, so you need legislation or you need something else going on there. So with XXImo, you have a legislation pressure, right? So understanding the mobility of people.
Yeah, so you see increasingly, I think from next year in Europe, companies larger than 100 employees have to start reporting CO2. Sustainability is front and center, and with technology we're trying to solve that problem and assist our customers to say how can you address that business requirement. Collecting information from users and providing a consolidated overview on making sure that their sustainable goals are actually being met. You see that trend across Europe right now. You see it predominantly also in the Netherlands. If you look at the amount of electric vehicles that are running around in the Netherlands now, sustainability is here to stay and will only get bigger and bigger and play an important role in our lives.
You see, the Dutch people are front runners in this area or not? Is Holland kind of one of the? If you look at the amount of electric cars, or what do you?
If you look at adoption of electrification, we are a front runner.
Front runner,
yes.
eh? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You also,
I was in China the other day, in Shanghai last weekend. Everything is electric.
Yeah,
That you stopped with fuel cars.
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
out
And
of
running on
the-
solar. Yeah.
Yeah, and the top 5 electric vehicles, 4 of them come from China. It's a big market. So in Europe, I think we might be front runner after Nordics, but we still have a way to go.
We should look out of the
we've
box.
got, well, if you look at per capita and the landmass that we have, if you look at the number of charging stations, just look at it. If you zoom out, all you'll see is one blob. We're just, we've got a lot of charging locations.
It's great that the legislation will help you. So people have now. We are a listed company with CM.com, so we are the first to have the obligation to report on CO2. But when our employees drive to our office, we need to know what car they drive and how they drive.
We could help you there.
Well, I did come by plane this morning, but we are not listed yet, so.
And we may be running ahead in terms of electric vehicles, but in the Netherlands, unfortunately, we also live in a way that we would, if everyone in the world would live this way, we would consume 4 planet Earths per year.
Whoa.
So noblesse oblige. So we have luxury, we have wealth, and therefore we should also adapt and support other locations that don't, which I think you play a huge role in. I want to go to another video clip that Jeroen brought with him from CM.com.
I think by now, hundreds of millions of people in the world are touched by services of CM. CM enables businesses to interact with consumers the way consumers already interact with each other, by sending each other an app message back and forward. And we make that possible for businesses. Also in 2022, CM grew fast, double digits, 90% revenue growth. It means many new clients. And we grew on all aspects of the business. The fastest growing last year was ticketing. It more than doubled in revenue. Payments, volumes also almost doubled last year. So also in payments, a lot of growth. And of course, this is all glued together by our SaaS portfolio, the software. And that has also a great traction, a lot of growth there as well. There's a lot of small interactions between consumers on one side and business and brands on the other hand. And the technology we provide, the platform, is in between. With messaging, with payments, with tickets. ChatGPT, like any other AI model, can be a part of the total solution. But in order to manage this at a scale for large type of corporations, you really need also the CM.com technology to make that successful.
So driving relentlessly to be in the 50 fastest growing companies, to be able to attract top talent. You've had stellar growth in CM.com. The company's had stellar growth, and also your career has had stellar growth. How do you manage your stress?
Oh, my stress. No, I've learned to cope with struggles and with doubts and with problems. We have them all the time. We employ 1,000 employees. We work in all over the world, so we have challenges every day. But we always have opportunities as well. And I know I'm happy when I wake up in the morning. I have a plan, and I can do that day together with my colleagues. And yeah, as long as you keep your problems a bit smaller and your winnings a bit bigger, then I'm happy.
And how do you galvanize your 1,000 employees? How did you get them to build, for instance, this generative language model before other companies even thought of it? How do you engage them?
I think to stay close to passion. I think passion consists of what is you really like doing, combined with what you're really good at. And we have this talk very regularly with people. When the first talk and when we interview people, when we hire them, first week with onboarding, we always talk about do what you like, do what you're good at, and contribute. Contribute for yourself, for the society, and for the company. I think that's very important for us. And then you are passionate about your job. And then when you're passionate about your job, you forget about time and you want to become the best in the world in what you do. And that's a bit our DNA and how we work with our colleagues. Yeah.
I think that really it is something that distinguishes this group as well. If you read Elon Musk's new biography, passion, go for it. That guy works 24/7,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like work because it's his passion. So here, when we spoke, you said serendipity plays a big part for you. Luck happens around you.
Well,
But you make your luck.
you make your luck. You have to work hard. You have to put in the hours. Having a good team around you helps, reduces the burden, makes life easier. And I agree, passion. You have to be passionate of what you do. And if you're not passionate, it's not worth getting out of bed. So you do make your own luck.
What is your secret superpower?
Don't give up. I think if you were to sum it up, don't give up. There is no single answer to that question. But if you believe what you're doing and you want to get the result, you will get the result.
So crystal clear goal. Bring your team with you.
I think you need to have an idea what the goal is. We work in tech. Tech evolves.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be agile. You have to adapt. If you look at new technologies coming in, technology is dying. You need to adapt how you're going to utilize what you have and how you're going to meet the requirements that you've set out for yourself. So agility and don't give up.
And I think with that, given the speed of evolution, is a piece of learning and unlearning as well. Albert, you've had various roles, CIO, COO, you've evolved into a CEO role. What have you learned along the way and what are the differences for you?
Well, I think I agree too much with the speakers here already. So we said we would do a little bit of fighting and arguing, but it's all about passion at the end. And the second thing I had in my mind is never give up. And I think then it doesn't matter in what role you are sitting. It doesn't matter if you are a chief information officer. I think the statistics that we just saw show that they should take the lead immediately on topics like this. We are asking them to take the lead for starting to implement biometrics, but artificial intelligence is the same. And if you believe in what you do, then you will drive it as your own company, as an IT, and bring that to the board and say, now is the time to go. And yeah, so it is about passion. I think the difference about FastID compared to the people around the table here is they are a lot bigger organizations. And when I worked for ING and Schiphol, I did the whole recruitment and you selected people. And with FastID, we are driving on a mission. And people, we don't really recruit them, but they kind of link on because they believe in our vision. They believe it's time to change and give the data back to the consumers and let them use their own identity, use their face. And that's why they connect. And sometimes they connect and they stay for 2 years without really recruiting them. Or they, if it doesn't go well, or they don't like it anymore, or then they reconnect.
I have a thing we might can do together.
That sounds brilliant. I was looking for that as well.
You know, we work a lot for festivals. And you buy a ticket, you go to the cash register, you buy a beer, you drink a beer. But what I envision of a long time already is you go to a festival, you go to the bar, and the bartender recognizes you.
Yeah.
So with a camera, it recognizes your face, and in ear he hears, this is...
Don't give him any drinks.
This is a favorite drink, and then you say, okay, here you are, beer.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I love that.
You know, you pay Monday. I sent you a ticket or so, and then because I know already who you are and how you paid, because
or a debit card, as you say, 3 beers.
Yeah, like it was like in a very small bar in the past. When the bartender knew you and you had your tap, your bill. And, maybe we can do that together.
I would love that.
Your face and then.
I would love that.
I love how
that.
these dreams come together. So shifting to your face being your remote control. And I want to share a secret with you because I've had preparatory conversations with you. And you all wanted to be either a pilot or the captain of a ship. So you all wanted to fly, travel, be adventurous in the world and take a leadership role in that. So I find that quite fascinating. I think maybe those who are crazy enough to dream it are also the ones who can do it.
That's true. And nobody here around the table is talking about money or revenue. We're all talking about kind of justification, bringing justice to the world and making it better. And that's, I think, also the drive I feel in both of you.
Yes.
The first drive is to have a dream. That's maybe the third word we get on the table, to dream about something. And that's not always money-driven. It's more based...
The money will follow. If you make your customers successful by helping their consumers, and you add a lot of value, then eventually you get paid somehow.
Yeah, that's what we hope for.
Most of the time.
With a ticky.
So we have an interesting audience watching us. What would you like to say to the audience? We have maybe CIOs and large incumbents. We have young people working in tech, thinking about their dream. What would you like to say to our viewers today?
About CEOs, I'll tell you my dream, and then maybe you can relate to it. Because what we are doing with CM.com is not finished. And we want to help brands to communicate with consumers. And how? My dream is that in the end I can send a WhatsApp message to Nike and say, my shoes are broken, I want new shoes. And that Nike said, oh, Jeroen, I know you, you like running, I know your size, I know where you live, and I know how to pay. I ship you the shoes, try it out and let me know how it felt. And that I can do that in a WhatsApp conversation like I would have with a friend. And when that's possible, I think we are ready with what we are building.
So we're going to buy beer with our face, and we're going to just send a WhatsApp to Nike and say, send me shoes that I will like on this budget.
And they have to know me, and they have to recognize me, have to think...
Start running and then take the beer.
Albert, for people who are watching this.
Well, I did change it. I had a different one in mind, but I would say for the chief information, take the lead. Take the lead and show. Don't wait till they ask you something. But now is the time, especially when you saw the statistics shown, to show your company what is possible. Because there is so much improvement possible if you look at artificial intelligence, if you look at the use of biometrics for identification. Step out and show to your board. There are so many ways, possible ways to move forward, and don't stay back and wait till they ask you something or there is some kind of client review and you wait for what they ask. No, show the way forward, show the possibilities, dare to dream and share it with your company.
Dare to dream and dare to lead.
Yes.
Yeah. So here.
No, I think both gentlemen have been quite clear, and I have a similar message. Dare. Think ahead, listen to your team. You'll be surprised the amount of interesting ideas that evolve within the organizations that you can fester and make something out of. And lead some of the things that we've seen over here.
I like
technology is evolving.
As well. I think it's a very good addition, especially when you work at Schiphol or ING. You need to listen a lot and find something in common. But my mission is and what the team likes already. Because if I need to convince them about something they have no energy, it won't work. No. It will take a lot of time.
You're right.
In a smaller company, it's a bit easier because you have a dream and you just get the people on board who have the same dream. So then you have to listen a little bit less. But I think listening...
And be adaptable. So we see technology is changing.
Yeah.
How can you use that? How can you take tech and solve problems? It's great what you're saying today with using a WhatsApp tech messaging with Nike. That's possible today.
Yeah.
All the elements are available today to make that possible.
Yeah, it's not technology.
It's
adaptation of the
it's how do
technology.
you realize that and
That's a very
enable
good
it?
observation, because we made a movie when I was Chief Information Officer of Schiphol. We had the best digital airport technology of the world. We made that movie, I think, 8 years ago, together with the team. And already at that time, everything shown in the movie was possible. Everything.
Yeah.
Now we are 8 years later, and it is still not there. Yeah, a lot of the things are so. It's not that the technology is not there, but the people need to be ready and willing to take it up and start using it.
So you heard it here today. Dare to dream and start to lead. I want to thank my guests. These are the dreamers, these are the doers. Mark, I wish you a lot of wisdom in determining the final winner out of these finalists and final nominees. You're going to have a very, very tough time. Thank you all for being great guests today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We still have one announcement, which is I would like to remind you that on the 21st of November, it is CIO Day in Hilversum. So be there or be square. See you there.